Hyperliquid is the 13th largest cryptocurrency by market cap, and Solana currently sits in 6th place. So in today's video, we're going to discuss if Hyperliquid can really flip Solana. Is it possible? So we're going to look at a few different things to arrive at a conclusion. We're going to look at fundamentals, on-chain metrics, just general hype and attention, and more. If you do enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like. But let's get into it. What's the current task at hand if Hyperliquid is to flip Solana? Let's look at some tokenomics, market cap, and all of that good stuff. So Solana currently sits with a $83 billion market cap with an FDV of around 95 billion. So circulating supply currently quite high, roughly at around 85%. You would expect this from a coin that's been around for a minute now, whereas Hyperliquid, of course, a much newer coin, currently has a market cap of 13.5 billion with an FDV of just over 40 billion, but the circulating supply is much closer to around a third, around 33%, with, of course, towards the end of this year, going into next year, more tokens coming into circulation. So as it stands right now, when it comes to market cap, we're currently looking at around a 6.5x to reach the levels of Solana. But of course, that is taking into account that Solana doesn't move. You know, if this bull market is to continue, if Hyperliquid is to thrive, you would expect Solana to, continue to rise in market cap as well. Maybe not as quick, but that is the big question in today's video. Can it catch it? Can it do enough to really hunt down Solana? So what can help Hyperliquid reach these levels? Well, you've got fundamentals, you've got metrics and statistics, you've got hype and attention. And if we start with the fundamentals, I actually think a more relevant comparison is Hyperliquid to Binance or BNB token rather than Solana. Why is this the case? Well, Hyperliquid and Binance are both primarily known to be exchanges that have both spun up their own layer ones and ecosystems. Now, there is a slight difference in the fact that Hyperliquid is much more focused on perp-based trading, and it is, of course, a decentralized exchange, whereas Binance is a centralized exchange, and most would argue that it is more used for spot than it is for perps. However, one would argue that the Hyperliquid ecosystem and the layer one side of things is what can really take Hyperliquid to the next level. Moving on to the on-chain metrics, and the big question here is, does Hyperliquid deserve a market cap like Solana, like Binance, currently at $96 billion? And if we look on DeFi Llama, we can see a few different things. So first of all, looking at the numbers that Binance brings in from the CEX side of things. So when it comes to the amount of assets, Binance currently have over $150 billion in assets, and no other exchange really comes close. We can see OKX here at number 2 with 25 billion. I think most people will agree that Binance is the biggest exchange in the world. Of course, Coinbase not being taken into account here. However, if we also look at spot volume, we can see the numbers here, $19 billion in 24 hours compared to HTX and MEXC at 4 and 3 billion. So again, a clear leader. And this is why the market cap for Binance is partly justified. Now, the good thing here for Hyperliquid is, of course, we did mention that it is primarily a perp-based DEX rather than being spot focused, but they are actually improving their spot listings more recently. So, we have to keep this in mind that Hyperliquid is on the up. Binance is well established. It's been around a while. It has solidified its place at the top. But this is very good because we can see here with Hyperliquid, the perp-based volume over 24 hours at around $8 billion. No other exchange comes close in this department, and the same again over 30 days with almost $250 billion in 30-day volume, with the next in line being at around 19 billion. So, in this niche, in this sector, Hyperliquid is a clear winner. It's now about taking the leap to catch the big names, the blue chips, the Solanas and the Binances of the world. Now, when it comes to the L1 side of things, this is what I think is like I mentioned, what can take Hyperliquid to that next level to really compete with the big boys. and there's still work to be done, but it's in a great place. Now, when it comes to DeFi TVL, of course, Ethereum well away in the TVL game, and then Solana's in second place at 23 billion. Now, Hyperliquid currently has around $2.2 billion in TVL, which is, very respectable. It's up there. It's in the mix with the likes of Avalanche and Sui and Arbitrum, but it is still, it's still got some work to do to catch Solana here. It's around a tenth of the size. And when it comes to 24-hour app revenue, Solana, of course, with the meme coin hype, is the winner here with just under $6 million in 24-hour app revenue, and Hyperliquid is in sixth place with just over, $750 million. So again, it's up there, it's in the mix, it's pulled away from the likes of Avalanche and Arbitrum and these other kind of L1s and L2s that are struggling to really gain, real-time traction. But it's still got some work to do to really make that next leap, to take over base and then to move towards Ethereum and then BSC. So I think my assessment of this is the market cap isn't justified yet. It feels very much fair value for the numbers being produced on chain. Now, there's no denying that Hyperliquid is doing a great job when it comes to being a perp-based DEX. I have said over the years on X, on social media, that the best DEX that can provide the real solution when it comes to liquidity and pairings and of course no KYC was going to do very well, and eventually Hyperliquid very clearly won that race. When it comes to spot listings, I think they're very much in tune with what the market wants and what retail investors want to see. Just as one example, they listed Fartcoin quite recently, which isn't actually listed on any tier 1 exchanges apart from this week finally being listed on Coinbase. So they understood the appetite of what people wanted. So I think they're doing a lot of good things in that sense as well. But I think the ecosystem, the L1, is where there is room for improvement, and this takes time. So if we have a look at the Solana ecosystem on CoinGecko, you're going to see a very well established ecosystem at this point. Now, of course, you get the generic names in there like Tether and USDC and Wrap Bitcoin Chainlink that are pretty much multi-chain assets. But you also see some big names on the list here that are independently or primarily Solana based. Of course, you've got Jito staked Solana, you've got the likes of meme coins such as Trump and Bonk, you've got Jupiter Exchange, and you've got Fartcoin. So all of these assets are $1 billion plus market caps, and this is what contributes towards a well-rounded ecosystem. You've got some DeFi apps, you've got some meme coins, and that is what you want to see from an ecosystem at this point. Whereas if we go to Hyperliquid, we can see that of course Hyperliquid is number one with a huge market cap of 13.5 billion. But next in the list is a couple of different coins. You've got Per, which is the primary meme coin, but at a smaller market cap of around 173 million right now. You've got Liquid Launch, which of course does provide an element of utility to the Hyperliquid ecosystem, but that is just under a $100 million market cap. And then a few more memes at around 44 million, and 23 million. And after that, you're getting smaller and smaller. So I think the next step for Hyperliquid is, of course, to just keep going with what they're doing when it comes to the exchange side of things. I don't think there's any debate there that they are doing a lot of good stuff, but I think the focus now is attracting builders, attracting good projects to come over to Hyperliquid and start building within the ecosystem. When it comes to attention, Hyperliquid is definitely flavor of the month right now, and Solana maybe isn't so trendy right now as it was, say, 12 months ago. But the thing is with hype and attention and speculation is that it can only take you so far for so long. Hype and attention is absolutely necessary for a project to succeed, especially in the cryptocurrency fast-paced industry. And getting eyeballs on the project in the first place is what it's all about. But if you don't really have any substance, the attention will move elsewhere and there will be new trends and new flavors of the month. But the thing is with Hyperliquid is that they can actually back it up. They have a lot of good things going for them. They have great products. They are a bootstrap project, no VCs, no investors, and they did a big airdrop for the community, which made a lot of people a lot of money. So they have a lot of things going in their favor. But there are two areas of improvement that spring to mind to me if they are to compete with the likes of Binance and Solana. Number one is coming back to spot offerings. I think that although they have the perp-based DEX game on lock, it is relatively niche. More retail investors are going to buy spot investments than they are trading leverage. So although they're doing a great job of it, I think the spot market is very important, and to really make the onboarding process very simple and straightforward, I feel like they need an easy on-ramp. They need something that, like MoonPay, that allows you to kind of just buy things on Hyperliquid with Apple Pay, and just making that whole process from Web 2 to Web 3 very simple and straightforward. The second thing that springs to mind is going back to what we mentioned with the ecosystem from the L1 side of things. One thing that Binance did very well once they established their exchange was create a thriving ecosystem, especially in the Asian markets, where a lot of good projects and good meme coins head over there. There is volume, there are pairings, there are assets, liquidity, and it's all looking very bright from that side of things. So I think the next step for Hyperliquid in that department, like I mentioned, is to attract the builders and attract the meme coins to come to their ecosystem. And finally, the million-dollar question: do I believe that Hyperliquid can really flip Solana? The short answer is no, not this year. I do think that they will continue to close the gap when it comes to market cap, but I don't think that Solana is going to stay stagnant enough for Hyperliquid to make up that much pace in such a short period of time. You know, these are big market caps now. We're not talking about a $10 million meme coin flipping a $50 million meme coin. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. So I do think, although they are on the right path, it may take a little longer than some people expect. Now, the one comparison that I make is Ethereum and Solana and that whole flipping in. Now, I do think that this is possible maybe in the next cycle if Hyperliquid can continue to thrive fundamentally, attract attention, and so on. But even with Ethereum being, I guess, not the flavor of the month this cycle, you know, there's a lot of hate towards Ethereum, and Solana up until recently being the big favorite and the big L1 that has all the volume and all the meme coins, it still couldn't flip Ethereum. Yes, the Solana Ethereum chart was on the up, and we've seen Solana take a lot of market share and start to close that gap, but flipping-ins are a big ask because, like we said earlier, when assets are rising in a bull market, everything continues to rise. It's just some do a little better than others, and for a flipping in of that size, it really needs a project to stay stagnant. So Solana staying stagnant or even falling to make that gap come closer and closer and just make Hyperliquid's job even easier. So the quick answer to it really is no, not yet. But if they carry on doing what they're doing, then of course it is possible in the next few years. So that pretty much wraps up the video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to drop a like and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Also comment and let me know if you think Hyperliquid can seriously flip Solana. Please do trade safe, invest safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.